sleep at all right now, and because I can't sleep, I decided that I would instead attempt to talk to all of you in the internet, inside of the internet, where you are currently located, wherever that may be. Um, you know, I've been thinking about the broader project of uh, these languages, the language stuff that I'm doing, both in pursuit of my own personal enjoyment as well as in pursuit of my own personal enlightenment. That is to say, that I intend to empathize with various people and cultures from around the world, which I think will teach me a lot about the human condition. But also, it's just fun to be able to take in all those different cultures and the things that they have to offer in the form of art and especially literature, which, of course, being able to read is pretty important for. But moreover, um, there's various economic opportunities that become available to you if you know, especially multiple languages, but even just one extra language. And so your um, potential as an employee for in the eyes of a company goes up by quite a lot because you can talk to people from around the world, especially if you're providing services or engaging in negotiations or something along those lines, international communication of some sort, maybe even working in an airport. You're going to be seen as a highly valuable asset to that company, of course, because we live in a global economy. And there are also various, ways in which you can work independently, both by teaching online and also by doing freelance translation. But even if you're doing a job where you don't necessarily have to use one of your languages, the fact that you have a certificate for a language or especially multiple languages on your CV is going to help you a lot because this is going to show an employer that you were willing to put a lot of time into something. And if you were dedicated enough to put that time into a thing, then you're probably going to be dedicated enough to stay working at that job, which is going to make you an attractive employee for them. So, with all of these things in mind, it's good to know a language. It's important, it's very helpful. And most of the world knows one, more than one. It's the monolingual curse that we in the English speaking world are pretty used to having, but you can break out of that mold. You don't have to be a monolingual beta. Now, um, that isn't the only thing I want to talk about in this video. I also want to talk about all this stuff around me that I have talked about how I'm going to sell. That is still the plan, and the proceeds from that will hopefully go to a language school or education of some kind later down the line. Frankly, I think a lot of it will have to be used just for me to survive, but the aspiration is still there, and it's something that I'm still working toward, and won't stop. But the reason I bring this up is because after I reach my goals, I could easily see myself in a situation where I'm making enough money to buy a lot of this stuff back, at least the stuff that means the most to me. Because I watch a lot of these videos, of weird kind of basement dweller type dudes, guys with a lot of old technology and like they record the video with the old technology, which I started doing a lot of the stuff on this channel specifically because I wanted to inspire other people to do that kind of thing. And then more people started to do it, and I was like, yes, fuck yeah, let's do it, you know? Um, but I watch a lot of that stuff, and a lot of these people have like crazy video game collections. They have all this cool old tech that they're collecting and maintaining. There was a YouTuber by the name of Don't Watch My Fucking Videos, which isn't really around anymore, because all of his videos are gone. But I remember watching his shit where he would show off like consoles that he was fixing and like weird cameras he had and shit, and like even like game cartridges and shit that he was fixing or modding or ripping or whatever. And I was like, damn, this dude is like the renaissance man of technology, of video games. You know, this dude is like so well versed in every aspect of retro tech. He can fix it, he can collect it, he knows what it is and what it does. He knows every way around hacking it. It was so cool, right? Hope that guy's doing well. But I remember watching those videos and I was just like, damn, like I gotta be on that shit. I gotta be as much of a nerd as this guy. And in many ways, I already was. I already had a lot of the same interests and passions and desire for a lot of those things, but not the actual way to get a hold a lot of it. And that's the same thing that I face now. But if I'm, working a good middle class job and I'm actually responsible with my money, I could very easily see myself sort of surrounded by machines once again. And how much meaning is there really in that? I don't know. I mean, probably not a lot, but the truth is, I like a lot of this stuff. I like a lot of the stuff you see in this room. Is there, you know, a logical reason or a set of logical reasons? Probably not. But the fact is, having a bunch of cool stuff is comforting for me. It makes me happy. I like seeing it. I like looking around and then being like, yeah, like I have this dope ass game room that I'm waking up in every day. Sure, I don't like use a lot of this stuff, at least right now, but that's because I'm doing important stuff. You know? It's like the drive to use this stuff, I could imagine, would reemerge, but not in like a huge way, not in like a I gotta do this all day type of way, the way that I do with my languages, but just spritz a little bit of it in here or there as a reward for good behavior. You know what I'm saying? And so what I said in the very last clip was, and you get to enjoy it, but then the phone cut off before it could actually do what I wanted it to do, which was record the rest of my sentence. So I placed it in this little area right here in order to show you myself from an angle that you've never seen me in before. How cool is that? But yeah, I would like to keep a lot of this stuff. The reality is that I cannot. But what I do have the option of doing is getting all this stuff back, one day. And, it relates to the broader goal of language acquisition because if I can be at a proficient level in all of these different things and also, finish with college and school and get more work experience, I could very easily see myself, you know, moving forward in the career and improving financially to the point where, I don't just have a collection like this again. I have, a much bigger collection that I can talk about with other equally passionate losers on the internet. So, all of this is to say, um, it's not as if like I've completely given up on this hobby that I've spent my entire life caring about. It's not like I don't like this stuff anymore. I do, but it's in a more limited fashion, right? I like to collect this stuff. Yes, and I like the history of it. I like to be aware of the broader meta of video games, right? That's something I've always been really interested in. But also, I I want to play these things, but just not for, hours and hours a day. I've had periods of time where I turn something on, I play it for like 15, 30 minutes, to at most an hour, and I might not turn on a video game again for several days, and then I get that quick gaming session, and then we're done for, sometimes you go through periods, long periods, like years, where you're just doing it that way. But that doesn't mean that you can't have a video game collection at some point down the line. It may mean that it is impeding your ability to, move or to live. It may mean that you have other financial obligations that could be better served by liquidating the assets you have around you. And I think that's the position I'm in right now. Like, there are goals which I have, and there are also material needs which I have, which supersede having all of this stuff in importance. Um, and so that's the situation I'm in now. I have things which are more important than owning all this stuff, and so that has to come first. But that doesn't mean that I don't want to have all this stuff, right? So I could easily see myself, getting a room like this once again in the future. Um, I also, before a lot of this stuff exits this place, never to be seen again, I want to do like a series of videos talking about some cool stuff that I have. I think that would be really fun. But I also think that you should go to bed. Actually, I should go to bed. It's 6:22 in the morning, which is around the time that I normally go to bed. Can you tell that I'm a neat?